Right, to start with this question, you've got to show that 2 plus I is a root, so you've got a few options here. You can sub in 2 plus I, show that's equal to 0, therefore it's a root. Okay. Or, as we've got to find the other root anyway, we could solve it, for example, with the quadratic formula. So negative b plus or minus square root of b squared, that should be a minus, 4 times a times c over 2a. It's 4 plus or minus square root negative 4 over 2 minus 2i over 2 minus I. Therefore, z1 is root, and the second root is 2 minus I. Or complete the square, it's the other option. Z minus 2 squared equals 0, and get to the roots that way. So any of those options would be fine. Right, so in the first part we found the two roots. Now we want to find 1 over 2 plus I plus 1 over 2 minus I. Well, we've got to show it's equal to 4/5. Show that basically means pretend you don't know the answer, and then show how you would get to it. A few options here. I could realise both parts, then add them up. Or I've got two fractions, so one way to do that is to add them and get a common denominator. And in this case, the common denominator would be 2 plus I times 2 minus I. So then the first fraction would have to be multiplied by 2 plus I. The second fraction would have to be multiplied by, 2 minus I, second fraction would be multiplied by 2 plus I. So, and I've got 4 on top of the fraction there. On the bottom, I've got 4 plus 2i minus 2i minus I squared. That's going to be 4, and those two are going to cancel, over 4 plus 1, which is 4/5, which is what they asked us to show. See, we've got another show that. This is saying that the imaginary part of the two added together equals 0. So that's, the two added together after they've been squared. So z1 squared plus z2 squared. Didn't even need to work out the real part. I can see the imaginary part of z1 squared plus z2 squared is 2i minus 2i, which is 0, which is what they asked us to show. Then they want us to find the real part of z1 squared minus z2 squared. So now I'm taking the two things I've got here. Oops, except this time, instead of adding them, I am subtracting them. So that's going to expand to the same as before. Plus. But this time I'm going to subtract that one. Okay, so here we've got 4 minus I squared. 4, that was 4 plus I squared, so 4 minus 1. Okay, here again I've got 4 minus 1. Okay, what I care about is the real part. So the real part of that is 3 minus 3, and that also gives us 0. Okay, D, we're actually doing something we've already done before. It wants Z1 squared, which possibly worked out one of the other questions. But let's just check. So Z1 squared, 4 plus 2i plus 2i, so plus 4i plus I squared, which is going to give us 4 minus 1, 3 plus 4i. Then I want z1 cubed, so that's just z, oops, squared times 3 plus 4i, so 6 plus 8i plus 3i, I squared, so 5 plus 11i. So in E, we've got to plot these three numbers on an Argand diagram. I'm just going to notice that they're all in the positive axis, so this is imaginary, this is real. So Z1 is 2 plus I, so 2, 1 in the imaginary, so that's Z1. Z1 squared is 3 plus 4i, so Z1 squared, 3, 4. And then Z1 cubed is 5, and all the way up here a bit, plus 11i, Z1 cubed.